Do you want more misunderstood movies and madcap slumber party fun? Well, join us. Join our Supercore at patreon.com/cinema-insomnia. You can get exclusive perks and help us make this 16th season your favorite Cinema Insomnia season ever. Become one of our patrons. Patrons? Patreons.
Patreons.
Patrons.
Patrons?
I think you're a patron at Patreon. Yeah, I believe that's how that goes.
Does Tron go to Patreon?
Oh, I hope so. I love Tron. Patreon.com/cinema-insomnia.
This space for rent. This signal space to your ears for rent. This space between your ears for rent.
Do you have a product, service, website, company? Propose, perhaps? No, we don't want to do that, right?
If you can't propose?
Well, I mean, if you really wanted to propose...
It would be encased forever.
Johnny says, will you marry me, Susie? We could do that,
Yeah,
sure.
why not?
Sure. Why not? If you have a product or service or whatever to promote, people, especially that you want to promote to our listeners, why not become a sponsor?
A sponsor, you say?
Yeah, a sponsor of this program. Contact Mr. Lobo at his personal email. I'm giving this out right now just for you, okay? Right. Don't tell anyone, all right?
Whisper it.
Mr. Lobo, that's MRLOBO, at cinemainsomnia.com. CINEMAINSOMNIA.com.
That sounds so sexy.
Yes. Mr. Lobo at cinemainsomnia.com. Contact me and we will get you on the air. We will talk about your stuff.
Your stuff. I believe this is the point where we start the program.
Oh, that's right. So why don't we get this program started? All systems go.
Hurrah.
Attention, sleepless nights. Thank you for consuming this OSI 74 product broadcast live from the Black Knight satellite. For optimum performance and safety, your host, Mr. Lobo, asks that you please listen to these instructions carefully. When in a hospital or other healthcare facility, observe the restrictions on the use of electronic devices. Switch off before boarding an aircraft to prevent interference with communications systems. Do not operate this device in the presence of flammable gases or fumes, chemical plants, or where blasting operations are in progress. Always listen hands-free while driving a vehicle. Failure to observe these instructions may lead to immediate termination. It's time now for the show to begin. Thank you. Have a very pleasant evening.
You're not dreaming. You're listening to the Sleepless Nights of Insomnia. This is Mr. Lobo, and across from me is Paul Sanders of Bestow TV.
I'm now across from you. I'm no longer to your left and or right.
Well, Miss Mittens is sort of to my right.
I got demoted.
And to your left.
Okay.
But I mean, I guess...
Which left? Which my left?
The lefter of the two lefts.
The lefter of my left?
Yeah, the lefter of the two lefts. And we are back home. We're not driving. We're not.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can edit this. Should I put car sounds in it from here on out?
I feel like we were driving for like a month. But we were driving for a month, I think, as far as the podcast, because that was the only free time we had was when we were driving, because when we weren't in a mobile car, we were making TV shows. I think we shot like 400 hours worth of video.
What was the only time that we had to balance everything out? Like, you know, it was the only thing that we can multitask. We couldn't necessarily be shooting and recording a podcast or, you know, or downtime or anything else, but we could easily, you know, it was easily an hour trip down, an hour trip back, which is the length of an episode. It was easy to just do that and combine the.
I like that.
The
mobile podcast. I don't know how often that's done. I wouldn't be as arrogant to say we were the first mobile podcast.
We're probably the last now, though.
But yeah, no, it's nail it shut. It's no that salt the earth so that it won't grow back, because it is dead. No one will ever want to do one again after 4 in a row.
I think it lost its luster after the strip club.
Yeah, the Starlight.
Stargate.
Oh, Stargate. Yeah, that's right. How quickly we forget.
And whether or not we were going to censor it.
Yes, we wouldn't decide. Like, yeah, we were worried if perhaps the Stargate diner would be like, we're not a strip club, and
You guys don't tip very well.
Yeah,
I don't like being called Bear Trap.
Oh man. We only did a little bit of grinding on you. It's not like, we were being overt. No, I think that we were worried, we were joking that it looks like a rundown Burger King or a revamped Burger King.
Which it did.
And it kind of looked like a Mexican car wash,
Which it did.
And when I say Mexican car wash, that is, I guess that could be viewed as a passively racist statement. But the term Mexican car wash came from a friend of mine when we were designing websites. And then it was like, it was always the thing that was like too much business, where there's like flashing lights and there's like, chasing lights going up the sides and like little animated flames and, and somehow we likened that to when you go to a car wash and they have like just way too many Christmas lights, flashing signs, open signs, too much business.
Well, it's odd to say that we actually have a few people, that listen to the podcast. So I got a little bit of a list going on here for special requests. One of which happens to deal with that episode.
Yeah,
as well as a couple of cease and desist and copyright claim strikes. And
how many copyright claim strikes? Because now I feel like you enjoy the copyright claim strikes.
You know what?
Now.
If they're going to take the money, they could. Backpedal a little bit was Negative Land. We got struck by Negative Land, and we were trying to figure it out because of their stance.
Yeah, Negative Land is sort of an anti-copyright group. In fact,
Creative Commons is what they work for.
Yeah, Creative Commons, and they have they have these glasses that have the copyright symbol with the negate sign crossing through them. They have one of their discs says copyright infringement is your best entertainment value. And so, they're kind of, Creative Commons guys, anti-copyright guys. They believe in fair use. And so it was very surprising because I've asked Negative Land before if we could use their music, and they're always like, "Why are you asking?
Right.
Just use it."
Right.
So, so it was very surprising that we got a copyright strike on the Negative Land part.
And we thought, and we were doing a lot of like, is this really true? Is this just some troll that's claiming on them and stuff like that? And recent research, I think, excuse me, I don't have it in front of me, but I think it's Sealand Records is who puts out their CDs.
That is their own label.
That is their own label, and it is claimed under Sealand Records.
But
so it is
it was Oasis or whatever on behalf of Sealand Records.
So there was two. Okay,
and then the Oasis people we looked up, and they were shady as you know what. Yeah. So they're claiming on behalf of a lot of people.
They're claiming because they know that this is
they can get away with it.
I mean, spoilers here, but I know that this episode hasn't been released as far as we're talking. So I got spoilers to you, but not to the listeners, because the listeners have already heard this. But yeah, then I went the extra mile with the Mork and Mindy reference.
Oh wow, yeah.
And it was just kind of like, yeah, whatever. They're gonna. I know. It was one of those things. Is like, are they gonna hit me? Or are they not gonna hit me? And it's like, the setup of the joke was there. It's like I got to go for it. And
Paul,
I didn't even
Paul
tell
did
Lobo.
The world's worst. In the last episode, Paul did the world's worst Robin Williams impression, which consists of, I'm the genie.
I'm the genie.
I'm the genie.
Alakazam. Which became the joke for the rest of the weekend.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It's still Dixie and I for a week have been going, I'm the genie. I'm the genie. Oh God. That's so terrible.
So then I put in that Mork and Mindy reference, which that was
a clip of Mork and Mindy, a very extended clip of
how
Mork
that was
and Mindy.
on there. That's exactly how it was. I just lifted the one segment, and it's kind of funny where it's like, I'm going to throw this on there, throw the listeners off a little bit, make them think that they're actually going to listen to an episode of Mork and Mindy, which wouldn't be bizarre for us. And then when I got to that one point, and it's like, oh, I lift this audio and actually go back to the joke that was made a second earlier.
Right.
And of course, I didn't tell Lobo this at all. And I'm like, did you watch it? Yeah, I saw you put Mork and Mindy. You really like the copyright claims. No, but did you watch it? And like a second later, dang it, I just watched it.
Yeah.
Like you probably like you only watched like I guess I assume that you only watched like the intro and you're like, yeah, it's just the intro. Yeah.
Yeah,
What the hell are you doing?
Well, I watched it and then I skimmed ahead a little bit and then I watched some more. I didn't realize that Robin Williams is suddenly going, oh, I'm the genie. He's telling Orson that he's the genie.
Yeah, and that's the bit. Orson was talking in the bit, and I lifted Orson, and then I thought it would be funny is that you hear that, and then you hear the audience laugh and applaud afterwards.
Yeah.
Like that was the greatest thing.
So we've been getting copyright claims, but those aren't the fun responses. The fun responses are the actual fan interactions that we've been getting.
Now this one goes back to probably episode 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
This actually comes directly off of the iTunes. So,
Yes.
we called this list off of Facebook, off of YouTube, and this is the only one on the list that's from iTunes. And this user requested that we name an episode, since we had not a Star Wars pilot, that he wanted an episode that was similarly named and not us having the same talking points. So I present to you Mr. Very Scary Guy's Not a Jurassic Park episode.
Oh, okay. So this is not so this episode is going to be the not Jurassic Park episode.
No Jurassic Park whatsoever.
Because I was getting tired of not talking about Star Wars.
Well, now we can not talk about Jurassic Park.
Okay, well, excellent. Well, now we have a topic.
Right.
Not Jurassic Park.
We have an anti-topic.
Yes, sort of. Yes, an anti-topic.
A nega-topic.
A bizarro topic.
A reverse topic. Hot topic.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Topic Thunder. Yeah, I don't know. Topical ointment,
Gross.
perhaps. So, yes, we are going to not talk about Jurassic Park. We're not going to talk about dinosaurs. Not going to talk about islands.
Nope.
Genetic engineering.
The new movies. The old movies.
No, the old movies. How come that no one remembers that Samuel L. Jackson was in Jurassic Park?
How did they not remember?
I don't know.
It's like, get those motherfucking dinosaurs. Isn't that?
Paul,
that
we
on a
can't say
t-shirt?
that. We can't say that.
I'll bleep it later, or,
Yeah.
I'll put it in a commercial, whichever.
It goes motherfucking dinosaurs off my motherfucking island. Everyone remembers that famous line from Jurassic Park.
Everybody had that shirt and the bumper
Yes.
stickers. And
Oh my gosh. So this episode is not Jurassic Park, and I think we have some other comments from more of our fans.
yeah, but we're at that breaking point. So let's take a break, and then we'll come back and we'll not talk about Jurassic Park and maybe some comments. And
We'll see you in 50 million years.
At the Earth's core, you will see the Mosaps, whose fiery breath withers trees and plants. The vicious Mahars, bird women who feed on human flesh. The giant Baz, lizard-like behemoths with poison fangs. See creatures beyond your wildest nightmares in Edgar Rice Burroughs' At the Earth's Core from American International Pictures. Rated PG, parental guidance suggested.
And we're back with more of the Sleepless Nights of Insomnia. I'm still Mr. Lobo.
this is not Jurassic Park.
Not Jurassic Park. Paul Sanders is still here. Miss Mittens is here. She doesn't have anything to say about Jurassic Park.
Isn't she descended from like the ficus from Jurassic?
She does have a lineage
Jurassic period?
of man-eating prehistoric plant in her DNA somewhere. We did an episode.
Here she comes. Watch out, boy, she'll chew you up.
Whoa, here she comes. She's
The
a
man-
copyright strike.
Ooh,
Boom, boom,
yeah,
boom.
crap.
Already with the copyright strike.
Judging what I put for the last commercial, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, we probably have already gone. Whatever's in the last commercial break has probably already kicked us off of YouTube. Miss Mittens. Now, this is one of our lost episodes, and maybe we might need to refilm this episode.
Oh,
But Miss Mittens was had a prehistoric plant DNA in her. And we did, that was very popular to do like repressed memories, where you like try to remember your past lives. Well, I regressed Miss Mittens with hypnosis in one of our old episodes. And it was for a movie called She Creature. And then she regresses, and in her hypnotic state, she becomes a man-eating plant, and she kills people. And then we carry this joke over. Every time she gets drunk, she just turns into a man-eating plant and kills people. And we carried that joke over into a Horror Party Beach episode, which I think you may have seen that episode. I'm not sure.
Sure.
Yeah, you just pretend. That's fine. And
You can't hear it, but I'm nodding my head.
yeah, okay. Yeah, he's nodding his head. And so Miss Mittens, who is a plant, house plant, she becomes, again, a she creature or a human, man-eating plant of superhuman size and strength. And we made this episode, and I think it felt like it was a good episode, but we got scared because Sony bought the rights to the movie She Creature. And we thought that movie was free and clear in public domain. And so we removed that episode from rotation when we went into syndication. Pardon me. Oh boy, there's the man-eating plant right there. And it has since disappeared. So I may have a script or partial script or some of my blue cards, but that episode is gone. But I still can't leave Miss Mittens with a beer and turn my back because who knows what she might become.
We probably should take that Heineken away from her.
Right
about
now.
Yeah.
Right now. So, Paul, you have some more messages from our dear Sinsomniacs.
I do. Let's go back to one where we recall the episode where we were coming back from the strip club. So
this is the Sleepless Nights podcast where we were. This is the one was that 7? Which one is that?
I lost count. I think it was 7 because it was 7 I was upset about because I'm like, we missed a very important joke because it was 007. It should have been not the James Bond episode.
Right.
Because that would have been key.
Yeah. So we picked up Aaron from the airport.
Correct. And we went to the strip club, and then we talked about the characters. I mean, I'm sure insert clip here.
Yes, we talked about Burger King. Burger King had a series of mascots.
Correct.
Including, of course, the Burger King and continuing on with Sir Shakes-a-Lot and Duke of Doubt, et cetera,
Correct.
et cetera.
And you had asked the question, you said, I don't know what a monocle on a stick is called. I'm sure it has a real name.
Yes, because the Duke of Doubt had a monocle of some sort on a stick.
And Bath the Badger King, a.k.a. also known as Cliff, is that correct?
Cliff from Wrench Productions, yes.
Well, if you look him up on YouTube, he's Bath Badger King. And he says that they are called, drum roll please, quizzing glasses.
Quizzing glass. Is that right?
I think so. As long as I wrote that right, I don't know if it was a Q or a W.
I think it is a quizzing glass.
I don't think I want to be wearing whizzing glasses.
A whizzing glass is something else. I usually keep a whizzing glass in my car and if I've got a long trip. Yes, a quizzing glass. That's interesting. Yeah, Cliff is a smart guy, and I think those might be more common in over the pond.
I was going to say, is that an England? Is that an England style? Because I guess he's Victorian, so maybe that's an English type of style from that time period.
Perhaps.
I'm talking about the
are they Victorian or are they Edwardian?
I don't know.
I'm not sure either. Or are they? I don't know. I don't know what period the Burger King characters are. Okay.
All right. Bonus points to Cliff if you can answer that one.
Yes. What kind of king is he? What period? What time period? He seems almost like a Henry VIII kind of period of king. Whatever that means.
I wrote in throw in. Throw in.
What is it?
I don't know why I didn't write the rest. It's from Anita Gale. It says throw in. Apparently you were reading it to me. I only wrote in the first couple words.
Throwing. She was throwing something. What did she throw in?
I don't know. I'm sorry, Anita.
I'll think about it.
I suck.
I'll think about it. We'll come back to it. I'll think about it.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll make it up to Anita because I have another one here.
She said quite a few wonderful, nice things.
Here we go. Well, here's Anita. This is in terms to the Valentine's Day special that we put out. Better than the Last Puppet Supper, and this is dealing with the Mary and Joseph.
The Puppet Last Supper.
Yes. Her comment was about us putting out Mary and Joseph for Valentine's Day.
Yes, we have these blow mold decorations, just giant Mary and Joseph that we put out on the lawn for Valentine's Day, not for Christmas, not part of a nativity. They would be normally part of a nativity.
But they're in love. That's how you get baby Jesus.
Yes, that's right. Space baby space Jesus.
Yes. I believe that's the reply I put
Yeah,
on her thing, too.
that was your reply. That's why I remembered it. So we brought out the for Valentine's Day, Mr. Lobo, the character in the Mr. Lobo Does Valentine's Day video. Mr. Lobo brings out the two not mascots, but the blow mold nativity, Joseph and Mary, and puts them out on the lawn and makes them kiss.
Yeah,
and it's a very touching.
That's better than the last puppet.
Better than the last puppet, and we were trying to beat that. That was the gold.
Now, what is the last? That was
puppet
the
supper? Gold standard. It is the Last Supper, only done in puppets.
Okay. Is that a thing? I didn't know that was a thing.
Yes, it's very famous. Oh. Yes, that we were trying to beat that. That was what we were. That was our goal, was to try to outdo that.
Well, I'm glad I helped.
Mm-hmm. And I guess we can talk more about that later. But that was actually the initial idea. I think that was the initial birth of Mr. Lobo Does Valentine's Day, as we came across those two decorations.
And I think that was the pitch I gave to you, was, well, Valentine's Day is about love, and this is the ultimate couple. And hardy har har.
Har har. Yeah. And in my mind, I was thinking that Mr. Lobo just doesn't have any understanding of how to get ready for Valentine's Day, and it's just putting out decorations for
because I think our original draft it was Mary and Joseph, and they were specifically supposed to kiss, was in the first round of throwing shit to the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah.
But there was also in this was all during cleaning up for Camp Lobo. We were doing
just spitballing as far as creating.
We were clearing out the shed.
Oh yeah.
And we were coming across props, and it's like, because there's other props that are coming up for other events where it's like, oh, how about this? And it was like a whole day worth of like, no, that's not really funny. No, that's not really. And then by the end of the week, it's like, I think we nailed it. It's like, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, we had a lot of. Yeah, it was funny because we kind of just accumulated a bunch of ideas, and then we just quickly filmed everything.
Right.
And then. Mary and Joseph.
But it was originally it was Mary and Joseph, but you also had headless mannequins that I also wanted to put out in the yard too.
Yeah.
Which never made it.
But I kind of like the simplicity of just putting out the two of them. And I think that when we were going to have him hang stockings and do all sorts of weird things that didn't make any sense for Valentine's Day, but I like the way we ended up doing it. But what's funny is that we actually put Mary and Joseph up in the attic. And then we're like, well, now we got to go get them because we got to do this thing now.
Mm-hmm. So moving on, let's see here. Here's one for Miss Mittens somewhere.
Oh, there was one. Someone was asking about Miss Mittens.
Someone was asking about Miss Mittens. Oh, here we go. How's Miss Mittens? Late Night TV.
Miss Mittens,
from
yes.
YouTube.
Late Night TV is the name of the YouTube handle of, and Late Night TV was one of the first people, if not the first, to put up clips of Cinema Insomnia on YouTube. And when my whole damn channel dissolved, that was all that was left, pretty much, is what Late Night TV had put up there. And Late Night TV spells it TEEVEE, which is the way it's spelled on the TV in the opening animation of Cinema Insomnia. So I think this person is a very serious Cinema Insomnia fan.
And this person is where we call a lot of our playlist on the YouTube channel.
Right.
That's where it
yeah. A lot of our playlists.
So we have a playlist on there that's a lot
from this person. Yeah. And so Miss Mittens, you want to talk about yourself for a second, what you've been up to, what's new with you? Wow, you're gonna have to bleep that, Paul. I think that's a little.
Should I edit that one down?
Yeah, maybe that's a little rough. Miss Mittens got a kind of sardonic kind of sense of humor.
Can we copyright that first, and then if anybody else uses that idea, we can collect on it.
Perhaps.
All right.
But
I told you we should have taken the beer away from her.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's the only way to get her to come to this podcast thing is to bring booze, really. Miss Mittens got a serious. I'm sorry, Miss Mittens, to talk about this in front of you, but Miss Mittens does have a drinking problem. Although she feels like she's doing it properly, but it is kind of gets in the way sometimes. But alcohol does, I guess, help her show up to these things. Again, it's a good tool to get her to.
We're at that time that we have to
there.
go to break. But I
Again.
have a random thought that we
Yes.
can think about. I know we're not talking about Jurassic Park and everything. But can we talk about Godzilla? Would Godzilla
Well,
break that
Godzilla,
thing?
I guess. Well, Godzilla's not a dinosaur.
Not
right?
a dinosaur, but could
He's
Godzilla
sort of a T-Rex?
Could Godzilla
but
live in
not
Jurassic
really.
Park?
I think you could build Jurassic Park on top of Godzilla. I think that's. I mean, Godzilla is.
Godzilla could be Jurassic
I
Park.
think he could be a Jurassic Park. You could just build a Jurassic Park on
that could
top
be
of him.
kind of fun.
I think Godzilla is now. We've talked about this maybe off camera before, but they always try to make him into a creature. Godzilla's not a creature. He's a monster. King Kong is not a creature. He's a monster. They always try to make King Kong just a giant silverback mountain gorilla, And King Kong is more than a giant gorilla. He's got some human sort of qualities. Like even in the stop motion King Kong, he's got human eyes. His head shape is different. He's not just a big gorilla. He's a monster. He's a mutant. He's something more. Godzilla is the same thing. They always try to make him more like a lizard, or more like a
hit by atomic radiation,
or more like a T-Rex, and he's not any of that. He's something more than that. He's a monster. He's something we've never seen before. He's a beast, an abomination.
Then there's Godzuki.
Oh, speaking of abominations. Oh, well, we don't have time to get into Godzuki right now. For those of you who don't know, Godzuki is the childlike offspring of Godzilla, as he is called in the Hanna-Barbera cartoon version of Godzilla. And in the movies, that character is called Minya and Junior. So ruminate on that. We'll take another break, and we'll be back with more Not Jurassic Park.
Hey yo. The man with the goodies is here. I got stuff you might want. Stuff that makes you feel real good. I got t-shirts. I got buttons. So you know what I can do for you? Every time you buy something, I'll send you a fan club membership card. So if you buy a patch, I'll send you a fan club membership card. If you buy an autographed picture with your name on it, when I've got your name, I'll send you a fan club membership card. And you can give that one to a friend. Remember, any friend of a Midnighter has got one friend.
Go to the OSI 74 shop to buy your Midnight Frights merchandise.
Hello, darlings. Bunny Galore here. I starred in my very own soap opera called Pantry Manor. I play a lady called Joyce Slaughter, the wife of millionaire Todd Slaughter. However, she does have a few enemies, including her arch rival, Alma Cutt. There's also Jassy, the gypsy who has second sight, and the lovable handyman, Nobby. Pantry Manor.
Oh yeah, right. We can't be doing that because it's not. Maybe could we do helicopter noises? I don't know. That's a horse, Paul. Oh. Speaking of sounds, I have something across the room here. I wonder if it still works. I have a Godzilla door knocker up on my wall.
Gross.
And it.
I don't want to see Godzilla's knocker.
That's like a scene out of
I'll fill
Monster
this in
Squad.
real quick. You grab that, and I'll say,
Godzilla's got a door knocker.
Maddie Corsa, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing, says, "Wow." What better compliment that you can have is say, "Wow." Isn't that
is the best.
Isn't that great, Miss Mittens?
Maddie has commented on 3 or 4 videos now saying either wow or oh wow. And I wonder what is different. Now, is it kind of like not sarcastic, but sort of like a oh wow? Is it like a sort of like really
surfers
guys?
Like, wow,
Yeah.
man.
Oh, it could be like
Wow.
that too. Like wow.
Whoa.
Whoa. So is it more surprise? Is it just happy? Is it sort of like, really, guys? Like, are you serious?
Or is it like, wow, you went there? You did that? You did that thing?
Okay, now I put the batteries in this. Let's see if it works. Oh, God.
Uh-oh.
Is this thing so old that it doesn't work? Let me try this again.
He's trying that. I will go to another one. How about we go to... I love how professional these things are, from Flern.
Flern thinks we're professional. And now, again, that's another one where you don't know if it's sarcastic. It's like, I love how professional your show is.
Or is he like, I love how professional your show is?
Yeah, you can't tell. It's YouTube. You got to assume it's mean, right?
I mean, is he related to Miss Mittens? Or she? Because
Flern?
Yeah.
No, that's Fern.
Oh.
I think Flern is probably from some Nordic country, maybe Norway or
isn't Flern like something
Sweden?
that a pantsless producer might make?
Flern, I think actually I think I bought this shelf over here at IKEA, and I think that is called a Flern.
All right,
hold on a second. Let me see if it works
from
now.
Flern.
Oh, here we go.
He's in labor. Here comes Godzuki. Godzilla's gonna give birth to Godzuki.
These things used to be, isn't that horrible sounding? This is what.
Now, when are you going to actually set off the Godzilla door knocker?
Oh God! Okay, stop.
I think he needs a lozenge.
He does need a lozenge. This is what used to pass for an electronic toy in the 1970s. This is it's Godzilla's face. He's mounted on a little frame, and it's got a little red button that says push. He's got red glowing eyes, and his mouth opens and closes, and his face is made of rubber. And somehow this latex has survived, from the 70s. And it's made by Alps Fancy Goods in Taiwan.
Now, in order to make that, they had to get the DNA from the blood from the mosquitoes?
From mosquitoes?
Mosquitoes that are trapped in amber?
To make this, perhaps, yes. I think that the other thing about it is that this is analog, right?
Okay.
So even though it's like supposedly electronic, there's probably like a piece of plastic being stretched or bent inside, which makes that horrible noise, right?
I think you need to put her down.
All right.
Shoot her! Yeah. Shoot her!
Okay, Paul, we're not supposed to be talking about Jurassic Park.
That was the perfect setup. I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's right. Clever girl.
So since we don't know what sarcasm is, here's another one.
Okay.
Why aren't you and Mr. Lobo famous?
More famous, I think is what it said.
I have ... famous.
Yeah.
So I was, and this is from Abram 03.
Abram 03. Is he one of the Abrams brothers?
I guess.
Like the Abrams, Zucker Abrams?
Or J.J. Abrams?
Could be J.J. Abrams.
But it's 3, so it's J.J. Abrams.
J.J. Abrams writes in. Why aren't we more famous? Well, Paul and I are actually very, very famous with a very small number of people.
Smurfs. Very small.
Yes, very small. Yes, Mr. DNA small. So, what else, Paul? Who else has nice things to say about this terrible, terrible podcast?
Well, somebody has an edit. This is not for the podcast. This was for an unboxing video.
Okay.
And he wanted to let you know that Brutus Beefcake, the toy that you had that you said this guy has scoliosis.
Yeah, which wrestler has scoliosis?
Was a famous wrestler / stripper.
Oh, okay.
And this comes from Tommy Johnson.
Tommy Johnson. That sounds like a wrestler / stripper.
Do I have to bleep this?
And then coming up on the stage, ladies and gentlemen, ladies, clap your hands for Tommy Johnson.
Boo.
What now? What?
Your turn.
What is it?
He just wanted to let you know that Brutus Beefcake is a
Brutus
wrestler.
Beefcake is the wrestler. See, people send me toys and things. If you go on the Mr. Lobo YouTube page or youtube.com/Mr. Lobo,
that would be it.
We have a lot of boxing and unboxing videos. We have about 100 of them that we haven't put together for you yet.
At least.
But there's several that are up there, and they're famous. We have also our famous reboxing. So not only do you get to see things unboxed like you can see anywhere else on the damn internet, you get to see them reboxed only in a way that only Mr. Lobo could.
And not the copyrighted Reeboks. We don't need another copyright claim.
Right. No, not like
Reeboks
the shoe.
is spelled different.
Different spelling. Yes, different spelling, different shoe, different foot.
On the same note of the reboxing video,
Yes.
Charles Winthrop, am I saying that right?
Charles Winthrop.
Winthrop?
Winthrop.
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 Charlie. Can I call him Charlie?
Charlie, I think.
Is he all
I
right
think
with
he
Charlie?
likes to be called a Charlie.
Is he
yeah,
Charlie?
I think he likes to.
It took me a while to figure out what his little icon was. I thought for the longest time because it just
It looks
shows
like a ferret, perhaps.
I always thought it looked like
Weasel?
a sloth.
A sloth.
It
No,
always
no.
looked like
What
a
is
sloth. I don't know what it is.
It's some kind of furry creature.
Yeah.
DJ Charlie, I think he likes to be called. He has a podcast as well, or a radio program, and I have been
Shout
on
out.
his radio program
Hashtag not sponsored.
years ago. I think it's been now, when OSI first started, and they were very kind to have me on talking about OSI. And his collaborator was I think it was Skunky something. He had a skunky assistant. So they might be, I don't know if they're furries, but I think they both are
Animals of some sort.
They are animal people, animal lovers.
Yeah, on the YouTubes, it just is a little small. All I see is a small
Yes.
icon. I had to go on to Twitter and actually look at
Very
his
nice,
picture.
very kind, very intelligent.
But he wants to know, as far as a boxing video, can
Yeah.
he send a refrigerator box full of these things?
Oh my God! And then Paul will make a 7-hour unboxing.
This might beat the
reboxing.
Garbage Pail Kids video that may or may not
May
be
or
out
not
by
ever
now.
see the light of day. I think I
3-hour shoot.
Oh my gosh! At least 3 hours of opening packages of trading cards. Paul likes to come over here and torture Mr. Lobo. I don't know. I'm hoping that the internet needs any of this stuff. That was actually one of our comments too. Wasn't there a guy who said that we like that you force Mr. Lobo to do social media, even though he hates it?
Yeah, well, I was going to combine those two into the same
okay.
one. Bunny Galore says, I love behind the scenes stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then Adrian also says, love the behind the scenes stuff, even though Mr. Lobo hates it. So I guess that would be your late segue into this bit.
Yes. And then Bunny Galore is wonderful. Bunny Galore is a stellar horror host in her own right. She hosts a show called Movie Nightmares in London. And her two biggest influences, if I am correct, are Elvira and myself. So I'm very honored to have Bunny proliferating the horror host tradition.
And Bunny does
over the
Pantry
pond.
Manor too? Is that
Pantry
correct?
Manor is also on OSI
is-
74. Yes, good segue.
Hashtag plug.
Yes, Pantry Manor is a soap opera, unlike any other. Has a lot of, it's a good show at any rate, and a very funny show. But as a side point of interest, has a lot of cross-dressing performers in a soap opera situation. Very funny.
So why do you hate the behind the scenes stuff? I guess is what.
Why
they
do
want
I
to know.
hate behind the scenes stuff? I hate
And
behind
why
the
I gotta
scenes.
make you open boxes, and why Charles wants to send you a refrigerator box full of stuff. Before you comment on that,
Yes.
I do have to say that there is one of them,
Yes.
which I believe it ties into the Brutus the Barber beefcake bit,
Yeah.
where we ended up dropping a lot of stuff out of it because that guy
It
sent
was
you
so much.
Sent you so much. That also ties into the Pocket Ninjas bit and everything. There was just
Yeah.
so much in that we just couldn't do it all.
No, not in one video.
And there was things that I don't even think you even opened on camera. You just kind of looked in the box and kind of
Yeah, there
moved
were
on.
things I glossed over. I mean, there's so many people have been generous with these boxing, reboxing. I mean, I get people who send me like just these loving, collections of things, all little toy airplanes and weird action figures and weird Asian candies and all sorts of oddities. And I really appreciate them. It's just that a lot of times I have to decide in a split second whether this is something that I can really explore and do material on in an unboxing or something that I should set aside in the interest of time. But it is very kind that people send me so many things. I don't like behind the scenes stuff, and I don't like social media. And I guess that part of that is that there is a mystery to the character of Mr. Lobo. A mystique of the character Mr. Lobo. Something that I've spent a lot of...
We don't want to see how the dinosaurs are made?
Yeah, exactly. We don't want to know what's in the dinosaur sausage.
Gross.
And Mr. Lobo is a bit of a dinosaur. You know, I started in a tradition of radio theater and comic books and in television. And in these medias, there's kind of a distinct backstage, you know, where it's like this is the part that nobody sees, and this is what we do, and this is the part that is the product. You know, I feel like with a lot of these things, like with, you know, there's always like the DVD collection where it's like, you know, here's all these bloopers and 15 more minutes, and well, this is all like the snouts and hooves and garbage that they didn't use because it wasn't good enough to be anything, and now they're presenting it to you like they're
now
doing
they're
you
selling
a
it to
favor.
you. There was a time when you had to have like HBO or whatever, or you could see those things for free. They would just throw them up for free or whatever. Now it's like, well, if you want to see them, buy the DVD, buy the streaming, buy the Blu-ray.
And I think bloopers and things only work if the subject has any dignity to begin with. Like, for example, if you see Orson Welles talking about cursing while he, you know, it's like you never hear Orson Welles curse, or Mr. Rogers curse. You know, a tent falls on Mr. Rogers while he's trying to set it up and he's swearing. That's like outrageously funny. Or John Wayne making a mistake because he's supposed to be so macho and so perfect. So there's kind of a tower that's built up there, and then there's this very rare gem of, oh wow, he's human. You know, and in my experience, most of the things that I see are bloopers, are people who are just kind of like, they didn't really do a very good job in the first place. Like it's kind of half amateurish and half-assed to begin with, and then they give you all these bloopers as if they're doing you some kind of favor. You know, it's like it's always like the independent movie where it's like, you know, the end credits are like what's a Burt Reynolds movie where it's just like nothing but every mistake they made, but there's not a lot of difference between the mistakes they made and the actual takes that they
like,
used.
what was so
in the
different
movie.
about that?
You know, it's like, okay, it's all garbage, you know. And I guess that with me, you know, I feel like, you know, I don't want to let people down, and I don't want to ruin their version of what I'm doing, because I think that when people watch the show, they have their own ideas about what I'm doing. And I also don't want it. A lot of times people do these sorts of things because they want to show off how hard it is to do the work that they do. And I don't want people to be thinking about that. I want my audience to be relaxed. I don't want to go, oh, here's where he made that mistake, or here's where he was going to do that other thing, but then decided not to. And here's the, you know, so that's, I guess those are some of the reasons why.
Here's where the budget ran out. They had to make this on $2.
Yeah, right. You know, it's like, I feel like.
We strike that from the record. We don't want people to know that.
It's frustrating because I'm in a point in my career where I really, you know, because the dynamic of artists and making art is changing so fast, you know, I'm having to kind of reach out to the audience with Patreon and everything else and kind of involve them more, because I want to keep doing this and they want to keep seeing me do this, and so we have to work it out. But if I had my druthers, I think I would keep a lot of it behind the curtain if I had my if all things perfect, so that the audience doesn't have to worry about, oh, is Mr. Lobo's electricity going to get turned off? Is he going to be okay? Should I make Mr. Lobo a sandwich and mail it to him? Does he need medicine?
Meanwhile, our next unboxing video, beds and sandwiches.
You know, I feel like that's unfair. I think it's turning the dynamic inside out. I'm supposed to be here to make the audience feel better. The audience is not supposed to be there to take care of me.
I will voice my side of it when we come back.
From the creators of 1 million BC, when dinosaurs ruled the earth, it is the beginning, the darkest age of all. The wings of a monstrous bird darken the sky. A great beast lumbers forth in search of prey. A beautiful virgin is marked for death. It is the beginning, A time of terror, pagan worship, human sacrifice. From across the shadowy abyss of time, Warner Brothers brings you When Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth.
2, 1. Am I supposed to do this?
Yeah, you could.
You want me to do this?
Yeah, you come in. Yeah, you lead it in.
Wake up, you stop dreaming, you're listening to the morning after.
Forget it, Paul. Forget it. I'll do it. We're back, and Paul has some thoughts about social media, behind the scenes, et cetera, et cetera.
Basically what you said, ditto. Moving on. No, I mean, I was a fan of the behind the scenes thing, and I always loved, I was a big backer behind the DVD when DVDs came out, because that was the way you could see the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
I remember watching, they used to have TV shows based off of it, bloopers and practical jokes, and you got to see the movie bloopers. You got to see people kind of break character or not.
But that was exciting to see.
That was exciting. Now everything does it.
Right. I mean, it was exciting to see how they did the effects in Star Wars, because
Yes.
it was so groundbreaking that was the forefront. It was like seeing people land on the moon.
Right.
You were seeing the forefront.
And now you watch it now, and it looks like they're all using Microsoft Paint. It's like, here, we're going to paint in this dinosaur's ass.
But they were on the forefront of a new wave. You know what I mean? It was like seeing an art movement happening, or a new kind of movie making happening. So,
Right.
And also, you're from the standpoint of you want to make films, and you
Want to
do make
learn,
films,
and this
you
is
want
kinda
to
how you learn.
And you get. I feel like when I'm watching a movie, and let's say it's Jurassic Park, but not Jurassic Park.
Anything but Jurassic Park.
But let's say a movie that's not Jurassic Park, and in this a certain
Well, since we
scene-
can't talk about Jurassic Park, what are those good like saucy movies from the '60s that were prehistoric?
like 1 million years
Yeah.
BC.
Or Caveman.
Caveman was from
Yeah.
the 70s or 80s, I think,
Yeah,
with
we'll
Ringo
go-
Starr.
Yeah, that ties into my next thing, but we'll.
All right.
So let's use Caveman as
All
the
right. So
example.
Caveman.
Because that's not Jurassic Park.
Because it's not Jurassic Park. So Ringo Starr's in a scene where he's leaning on a dinosaur's junk accidentally.
Tatuk. I really set you up to fail on this, didn't I?
Yeah.
So, God damn it! I got to remember what this is quick.
So you've got when I'm watching it, I don't want to think, oh, well, that's a stop motion dinosaur here, and it's a rubber dinosaur there, and it's a puppet of a dinosaur there. I mean, once you've got that in your head, like if you watch the bonus features first, let's say, and it makes it harder to suspend your disbelief if you are, your brain wants to put it all together as one unit, so to speak.
Right. And when you're already predisposed to it, you've already seen how the dinosaur sausage has been
You've
made.
seen how the dinosaur sausage has been made
By Mr. DNA.
By Mr. DNA, and so you've got it all together, and so
callback.
so your brain is assembling it like DNA, and building that strand, and you're going, okay, well, here's that place where this effects happen, and this is where, oh, this guy was sick that day, or Indiana Jones was sick that day, so he just shot the guy instead of fighting
They had
him.
that huge fight scene.
So I feel like like a spoiler. It's a different kind of spoiler where it's not telling you something that is happening in the movie, but it's telling you so much about how the movie was made that or the choices they could have or would have or might have or did make, that becomes part of your experience of the movie.
Right. I mean, and the thing is I don't think when it comes to more modern movies, I don't think I even chase that anymore. It's like, I just want to see the damn movie and move on. I mean, I noticed now that I a lot of my library now is streaming, and the streaming includes that stuff, and I don't even go to it. I don't even watch any of that anymore. But flipping it over to the independent side, I've been involved with a lot of people where we're struggling much like you and I, where we are trying to make something happen. And they want to put a third person on camera recording your every movement, and they want to have this edited and stuff. And it's hard It's hard to make that thing that you and I are making, let alone have to instruct a third guy not look like a complete asshole on camera.
Yeah.
And then have to generate this other content because they want behind the scenes because that's the thing and everything. I think like as far as we do stuff, I mean, it's just on the cuff or whatever. Like the Facebook video is, I had told you, I said, we're doing a Facebook Live. This is what it's going to be. And, it's pretty much pre-planned, but I mean, I guess it's something that we just do in the moment. There's no real like behind the scenes stuff going on. Yeah, well,
and I do appreciate, Paul.
We just don't have the resources
that you have brought some of that behind the scenes quality to the show, and especially now that the show has a 16-year going on 17-year history. It's on 16 going on 17.
This is not Jurassic Park.
So I feel like, again, now that we've got the Patreon, it's important that there's a transparency there. We're playing with other people's money. I feel like that there's a lot more value to it and a lot more validity to more now than ever to kind of share a little bit about, okay, here's where you can see the floor, and here's the set's only 6 feet wide, and it's
because you got investors to kind of answer to, so you got to provide those tools.
And, and again, our supporters are our investors. They believe in the product, and they're already sold on it. It's not like oh well, that's a bunch of crap. Now I know how they do it. It's like
and they get additional things like this podcast and stuff, which don't really include shooting per se, but we still get to vomit our brains out.
And this
I don't think that's what I meant to say.
No, vomit our brains out is exactly what you meant to say. Yeah. It just doesn't sound very good.
Okay.
I'm a genie.
Let me get a spoon.
Okay. All right. So, no, but I feel like this is a way of us. I think it's good for us because we get to talk out what we're working. It's like therapy for us. We get to talk out what's going on with us.
Why am I more screwed up then? This is episode 11?
Yeah, I don't know.
11 weeks of this crap?
Is it 11? No, this is 10, isn't it?
No.
This is 11?
This is 11.
What was 10? What was 10?
10 is the return from taking Aaron back to the... 10, we were still in the car.
Really? Because I thought 9 was taking... 9 was taking Aaron to the airport?
Yes, and 10 is coming back. That's where the whole genie comes from.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. It's been 11 weeks of this garbage?
But people like it.
Yeah, they do like it. So, like, who? Who likes this?
I don't know. I don't have any notes on the people who like it. But I think we're Buddy Galore, Adrian,
right? The tie-in.
Well, the tie-in was with Caveman, but Ringo Starr. Well, it wasn't Ringo Starr exactly because Everlove called us the next John Lennon and Paul McCartney
of retro pop culture.
I guess I'm McCartney because I'm Paul, and you're Lennon because you believe in Marxism.
You hate communists, so you're McCartney or McCarthy. Yeah. And then I'm Lennon because I'm a communist. I don't know. I don't get it.
Do you like lemon with your McCarthy?
McCarthy? What is that?
I was trying to combine
lemon in your tea, but you don't put in your McCoffee. How terrible! Where you thought you thought you were going to find a joke in that? Is that what you thought?
I have been thinking that for 11 episodes.
Oh, wow, Paul. All right. Well, that's what we get.
I believe my reply to Everlove was that we were more like the next Milli Vanilli than probably
than the Beatles. Yes. Girl, you know it's true. Or how Dixie likes to do it. Girl, you know it's girl, you know it's girl, you know.
Funny thing is Lobo didn't sing that at all.
No,
that's somebody else.
No, that was actually.
I just dubbed that right in.
That was a Velociraptor that made that noise.
It was a Velociraptor.
Oh my gosh.
Joshua Moore says, and this was about the Signs episode that we did of Mr. Lobo Does. I definitely need this, and now I know. And you know what, Joshua Moore? Knowing is half the battle.
That's right. Jurassic Park.
I actually think I said that it was two-fourths the battle.
Jurassic Park.
Because it was still half the battle, but it was two-fourths the battle.
Oh, two-fourths the battle. Jurassic Park?
Jurassic Park.
It's like a G.I. Joe hybrid with Jurassic Park.
They got to grab the the dinosaurs and wrestle with them. Do we get Brutus Beefcake in on this?
Brutus Beefcake
to
wrestles
strip
a
his ass
dinosaur.
off.
Oh no!
From a Triceratops.
Yes, at the Stargate diner / strip club.
Well, I think we put in too many meta references. We're going to end
Yeah.
up like blowing the world up or something.
Yeah, I think so. We'll create a wormhole here. Definitely, we've screwed up the timeline for sure.
Charles Thompson said, "I never knew how much I really needed a Lobo movie after watching our."
That was
mindless crap."
kind. Yeah, the Valentine's Day thing is kind of filmic. Is that a term? Filmic?
Filmic?
Cinematic?
It's cinefoil.
Cinefoil? It is like cinefoil. Crunchy.
Cinning?
It's dark and crunchy like cinefoil. Cinefoil is the stuff we use here at the OSI studios. It's like aluminum foil, only it's black, and then you wrap your lighting with it to control your light.
Oh, is that where that came from? I was committing sins with the
sins of the cinefoil.
Yeah, I don't think you want to be touching.
Oh, I don't want. Oh, really? Oh no. Paul's been sinning with our cinefoil. That's disgusting. All right. Well, those are things we use. We usually clamp it with the C-47s.
Is this more behind the scenes stuff?
This is behind the scenes stuff that I hate.
Yeah, okay.
Behind the scenes, we also use a lot of C-47s. Now, C-47s, if you want
They're machine guns.
If you want to, no, they're not. No. If you want to be a big time television producer, you have to
or movie,
you got to use your C-47s, and C-47s are used to.
Do I have to bleep this?
They can. No, you have to bleep it.
Oh, okay.
It was our friends. We can tell them. Okay. They won't tell anybody. But you can use them.
Maybe you should whisper it.
Okay, you can use them.
So sexy.
To clamp gels. You can use them to position objects in a scene. You can use them to put you can use a C-47 to hold a straw in a drink if someone's trying to drink through their makeup. You can use a C-47 for a lot of things. And a C-47 is a clothespin. Yes.
I was going to say you could hang up your clothes before you said that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Joke lost.
They use I guess the reason is it sounds gay when you ask for a clothespin on a movie set. No, I think the reason is so.
Can I have a C-47?
Yeah. I think the reason is that you if you're a union guy.
I think I just made our 18th dislike.
Yeah,
that joke.
You can charge people a lot of. Oh, we needed 204 C-47s on the set. That sounds like something you could charge somebody.
Sounds professional.
You could beef up the budget of the movie by buying a bunch of C-47s when you really are buying a pack of clothespins for $1.
Now, when I was first working on a movie set, and I was working underneath the gaffer, I believe, and he told me the inside story was.
Yeah, what was that?
Was that when your props master or whatever has to order the stuff from the wherever the warehouse. That they want the cinefoil, they want the gaffer's tape, and they want the C-47s. And C-47s were the bins that they were located in. They were in the aisle C.
I see.
Bin 47.
It's a catalog.
So it's actually a catalog number.
Interesting.
So that they could jack the price up.
Interesting. Very interesting. Well, that's some more behind the scenes stuff.
More stuff you didn't really want to know.
More stuff from in the dinosaur sausage. Right?
DNA.
Yes.
Two more. We're down to the wire here. We've got 2 minutes left,
and I have to go to the restroom.
I have two more here. Super Coolies. Super Coolies.
How do you pronounce that?
Kewlies.
Coolies. Okay.
Eventually, the U.S. will be safe for Lycanthrope Americans. Michelle Klein-Haas. I'm sorry.
Lycanthrope Americans.
Lycanthrope,
which is werewolves. We have a lot of werewolf stuff coming. Yeah. In fact, Aaron has been editing, and I will say it, the title of the film, Beast of Yellow Night episode of Cinema Insomnia.
Not Jurassic Park.
No. And the edit, when we shot the episode here, and we had really good feelings about it. And then Aaron's putting the episode together, and the first cut was like 2 hours and 45 minutes. We way overshot this episode of Cinema Insomnia. So now we're in a position, and maybe you have an opinion on it, would you watch a 2 hour and 45-minute version of the episode, or should we save some of that as maybe bonuses for the Patreon, or maybe for the download or the DVD version, have it as an extra?
Behind the scenes stuff here. Here's that stuff that we just said that we don't want to do.
I didn't say I didn't want to. I just said that I personally don't require, I don't need to do that. But if the audience,
it's work that we put in that we can offer.
But it's supply and demand. Right. If people want to see it, would they prefer to see it as a longer cut? Maybe that could be, we could have two versions. We could have like a syndicated version, and then we could have like a special version, you know, like Close Encounters when they put in that extra 12 minutes or whatever.
Or not Jurassic Park.
Or not Jurassic Park when they put in that extra 12 minutes from Close Encounters.
It was a very weird movie. I don't know why they do that.
And all right, Spielberg. Star Trek the Motion Picture, they also put 12 minutes from Close Encounters in. Why do they do that, Hollywood? What's up?
What's up?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and Saturday Night Fever. Remember they had the PG version of Saturday Night Fever where they had 12 minutes of Close Encounters.
Final question.
Yes.
Final statement from Moxie Rowe.
Yeah, Moxie. We love Moxie.
Hey, Paul, I have boobs.
Prove it.
Hey, Paul, I have boobs, not a guy.
Well, that not a guy is the point there, because
guy.
you were saying, hey, guys, hey, internet guys, which is calling back to
you.
Me. When I do my boxing unboxing, we watched a lot of unboxing videos, and everyone who does a YouTube video says the word guys constantly. Hey, guys, guys, hey, I'm excited, guys. So in my pathetic attempt to make fun of people who are more popular than I am, I adopted the guys or the desire to find something better than guys to call the whole world.
It's even funny. It's like to this time, it's like, oh yeah, here's this guy that I watch videos of. He might say something that we need to know about YouTube. Let's watch it. And first, hey guys.
Now it's an inside joke. Yeah.
Does he do it?
You know what's interesting is that I get excited every time I hear someone say an alternate. Like so I was like at a restaurant and someone said, "Hey everyone," and I went, "Whoa, there's another one. Everyone. I never thought about that." Or
that's all inclusive now.
You know,
now you're not just calling out the guys.
Yeah, I know. It's like I like that. Maybe
those who don't have the
do
boobs.
that. Everyone, and then you know how they always do
ones.
bro and brother, right? No one ever does sibling, right? Hey siblings.
Hey
right?
sis.
Hey sis. They don't do it.
Hey dudes.
But sibs, maybe. That could be a thing. Siblings. That we could get that started.
Hey y'all.
Hey, y'all.
What's up, y'all?
We talked about y'all and fam.
Y'all.
Fam.
Hey, fam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, internet's stupid. The end.
Final thoughts on Jurassic Park? Not
Jurassic Park. Yeah, okay. Hold on to your butts. Final thoughts on Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park, not Jurassic Park,
not
right?
Jurassic Park, yeah. So we can talk about everything but Jurassic Park. So.
Anything but Jurassic Park.
So what did you think of Caveman?
Caveman did for prehistoric movies what Star Wars did for prehistoric movies. Which is nothing.
What the Beatles did for
Beatles
Lenin.
did for prehistoric movies.
For Russia.
For Russia. What the Beatles did for Russia. Back in the USSR, they, gave them a hit song.
Live or Let Die.
Jurassic Park, what's interesting is a certain generation, I feel, thinks about Jurassic Park in the same way that maybe my generation feels about Star Wars. That's something I have noticed about Jurassic Park, is that I think it hit really strong certain generation of kids.
Well, it also bridged that gap between the puppets and the digital beings.
Yeah, I think that was something that they were on the fence about, whether they were going to put CG in that movie at all. But I think
Phil Tippett famously said when they first showed him the T-Rex animation, is "I'm out of a job."
Yeah. Was it Phil Tippett?
It was Phil Tippett, I believe.
Oh, yeah. What did Stan Winston say?
I too am out of a job.
Yeah. But Stan Winston actually did a lot of wonderful practical effects in that film too. What's interesting about that movie is I think what makes that movie work so well and it stands up so good is that it uses so many disciplines together. It doesn't really just rely just on CG. There's some really great puppets in there and some really great animated dinosaurs.
And it still looks good to this time, to this
I
day.
think so.
You know, you look
Yeah.
at Star
You're
Wars,
not
and
embarrassed
even the special editions where it's like,
yeah, all the
Jabba?
garbage mats and stuff. And
you can make a T-Rex, but you can't make Jabba look good. Jabba doesn't even really need it in Star Wars, but you can't even make him look good.
What you're talking about, the CG?
I'm talking about like CG of like comparing Jabba the Hutt versus the T-Rex, which the T-Rex was a puppet for most of that.
Yeah. The Jabba in the special editions is horrible.
But I'm just saying, is like,
Are we not talking about Star Wars now? Or are we not talking
I think
about
we're not
Jurassic
talking
Park?
about either. I think I was not talking about Jurassic
guess
Park
we-
by talking about
I
Star
feel like we
Wars.
were kind of talking about
But
Jurassic Park.
I think what I was saying was that you can make a T-Rex look awesome, both digitally and puppetry, because they obviously meshed the both.
Yes.
And Star Wars Special Edition, which came out shortly thereafter, was
right.
crap.
And what also, speaking of Star Wars Special Editions and Jurassic Park, and bridging those two things together, the Ronto, which was the stupid, in every commercial for the Star Wars Special Editions, is always like, Utini, the Jawa falling off the back of this mythical being in the Mos Eisley scene. And when it's falling off, it dismounts this creature and falls off, holding on to the stirrups, and then he hits another Jawa or falls off, or it's some dumb quick CG scene, and the Ronto rears up. And the Ronto was just the Brontosaurus from Jurassic Park with a different head. And then what was really weird is that around that same time, they took back the Brontosaurus and said, oh, the Brontosaurus didn't really exist. So then it's like, well, does the Ronto exist?
New from Ronto.
It's the Slice-O-Matic. It slices and dices from Ronto. From Ronto. Was it from Ronto? Yes,
Ronto.
Which is just a Bronto without the B. How clever. So it's funny because then it was like, oh, so the Ronto was a fake version of a dinosaur that was fake.
A fake dinosaur of a fake dinosaur.
A fake dinosaur of a fake dinosaur. But then they brought it back and said, no, Brontosaurus is real. And like Pluto. Brontosaurus is like the Pluto of dinosaurs.
Pluto?
No, not Pluto.
He's in love with
Not
olive
Brutus,
oil?
not Brutus Beefcake.
Oh.
The Pluto, okay, Pluto, the planet, not Mickey Mouse, not the planet, Pluto, was downgraded to what, a planetoid, a gas giant?
I thought it was
a
gas
midget.
giant. I don't know.
Funny midget. There's something embarrassing. They just made up like a stupid name just to embarrass it.
There's another dislike.
Funny little sissy midget. That's what they called.
Isolate them all.
That's what they called Pluto for a while, just to anger people. And then they had to change all the textbooks. I think they needed to beef up the textbook money, right?
They just sent them all back, and somebody sat there with black marker.
Yes, and lined it out. And then they went, oh, I guess it's a planet.
Yeah, fooled you. Just like the Brontosaurus, it's real.
It's like the millennials were dumb enough already. You had to screw them up with this too. And then we had, there's another dislike, right?
Yeah.
And then we had, how else can give us a dislike? But then anyhow, the Brontosaurus is the same thing where they had take backsies, right?
Right.
We go, oh, okay, well, we're smart now. Our science is better, and this thing didn't exist. And then it's like, oh, well, actually, our science is even better still, and we realize it does exist. All right. So on that note, does any of this exist, or were we even here?
I don't think so. I think we're all.
Okay.
We're all
Well, I have to pee so bad, my teeth are floating. So I'm gonna let you close it out by yourself.
So this has been the wakeless dawn of schizoid. Can you help me out here, Miss Mittens?
You have been listening to the Sleepless Nights podcast, or should we say, Oddcast.
Oddcast.
Emphasis on the odd. Our theme is by Mars Homeworld at Deadhouse Music. Our opening announcement is by Ophelia Necro. She does a radio show called Suicide Watch. And you could reach Mr. Lobo at cinemainsomnia.com, or find me on YouTube, YouTube/Mr. Lobo. Misterlobo. Mr. Lobo on Facebook, Facebook/mr.lobo, or on Twitter at Mr. Lobo, MISTERLOBO.
Or you can find myself, Paul Sanders, or better known as Besto TV, at besto.tv, on YouTube /Besto TV, on Twitter at BestoProd, PROD, and on Facebook, Besto TV.
If you want to place an advertisement with this podcast, and gosh, why wouldn't you? We could be talking about you right now. Contact us, Mr. Lobo at cinemainsomnia.com. That's MRLOBO @CINEMAINSOMNIA.com. Or support us on Patreon. Patreon supporters get to hear this podcast before anyone else, and a lot of other great stuff, right, Paul?
Sure.
Doesn't get it better than that, right? So come join the fun at patreons.com/cinemainsomnia. That's patreon.com/cinemainsomnia. Please stay up with us next week for another Sleepless Nights podcast. Or should we say, Podcast.
Podcast.
The best thing about being an insomniac is never having to say goodnight.
Good night.